So some of these ABCs, again, action-based conversations, certain kinds of data that we can actually do something with, because not everything is actionable. There's a lot of noise out there. People will say some silly things about either our company or products, or not all of it is that useful, but some of it is. And that we can assign it a certain category. That's basically what we're looking at here. And this lists the main categories that we've identified so far for these ABCs. So at the top, support would be a support-related post on Twitter, for example, or a comment. That is someone that's asking for needs or complaining about some technical support-related issue. Right? So we would identify a post like that as support-related. A lot of people have general questions about the company, the strategy, or products. We have one category called critics, for people that say something negative about some aspect of Cisco. That would certainly interest the PR team, for example. Buzz is for folks who are saying something positive about Cisco or a Cisco product. We would want to highlight those. Our team actually handles those Buzz ABCs. We'll actually use those like customer testimonials sometimes and actually highlight them on our website in certain places. Leads, folks that are looking to purchase an item, trying to make a decision between, let's say, ourselves and another company, or between products just with Cisco. Ideas, those are folks that are mainly asking for making feature requests for a product. And ambush. Ambush would be things where, and I have an example later in the presentation, but things where folks are trying to take advantage of the Cisco name. Let's say they're getting on our Twitter site and using our handle or maybe a hashtag that's popular with us and trying to advertise their own products or their own company.
Just curious on support. Yep. If you have somebody that's on social media asking for support,
yes.
Do you have your support organisation pull that off, or do you redirect them to your support organisation?
That's a great question, and I'll address that specifically in the next slide.
Okay, great.
Next two slides. Priorities, pretty simple, 1 to 3. 1 be the top priority, things that we answer within 24 hours. Priority 2, things that we would answer or do something with within 3 days. And priority 3, things that don't require an immediate response, but something that we may want to hold on to as reference for some later time. Do something with it at some later time. So we have our actionable content, we have our priorities. How do we actually handle all this stuff, right? It's too much for one person to do. It's actually too much for one team, like my team, to do, right? It actually requires a network within the company to handle all this stuff. So Central Hub team, that's basically the team that I'm on, really it's the whole department. We act like a central hub in that we try to standardize on certain tools. We train other parts of the company. We train and develop other teams throughout the company, like tech support, to use the tools that we're on, to use our process, and coordinate between our teams, all of our teams, to make sure that we're covering all the areas we need to cover and handling all the posts that we need to handle. So if we get a tech support post on Twitter or LinkedIn or something, and that happens a lot, by the way, there's a lot of tech support comments and questions, we would either find it and send it to tech support team, or they actually do their own listening and engagement on their own. And they were one of the early teams to get on board with this whole process. And I think they're the biggest team actually handling social media data. So we're a central hub, and we are, here's what it kind of looks like here. We are down here, and you can see it's basically a network of other teams that we work with, right? Quite a few teams, quite a few people involved in various regions as well, not just in the US, not just in California, but throughout the globe, trying to tackle all this social media data, and we as a department try to coordinate amongst all the teams. This is actually a growing effort. Tech support is one of the early teams that got on board with handling social media data. The WebEx division was also one of the early teams. And we are seeking out other teams to help us tackle this kind of information as well. So this is a growing effort, a continuous effort. These teams that, like tech support, for example, or WebEx, we'll coordinate with them, make sure that they are seeing what we're seeing and they're addressing the posts that need addressing, and they in turn will reach out to other subject matter experts when they need it to respond appropriately.